So if you had to look at Bitcoin now, where's Gareth buying? What's his view on it? What's his, just your step process, the way and the only reason I'm saying is I just want to show people how everyone can have different views of it. Like use it all, use it all in a way to sort of move. What's Gareth looking for from Bitcoin now? When does Gareth want to buy? Like, what is your points? Like mine personally, I'll just give it. Is I have a stochastic RSI nearly hitting bottom on the monthly and the weekly. So for me, I know bottom range is near. Doesn't mean bottom's in yet, but it means bottom range and phase is possibly near. I then have Fibonacci, I think it was, and I have the 14K support, the resistance, and I have a trend line on the weekly. Like I have a 4-step thing for me to like really on the higher time frame get in there. What's your step at the moment?
So one of the things I'm keeping an eye on is that you can clearly see that the current price of Bitcoin is still below that June low right there of support, right? So we know that this is a drop. So this is technically a bearish inside bar pattern, bearish flaggish in spirit of bear flag. And it hasn't even been able to regain the price point from June. So for me, that's a major issue short term for Bitcoin. I still think we could go up and touch that line, but that'll be a level that I'm watching closely. Overall, I continue to be in the camp where this area down here, which I think is right around your 14,000, 13, 14 area here, 14, this is going to be a big level as well. And I do think eventually we retest that level on the downside. Now, for me, I kind of took it a step further when I was analyzing like where Bitcoin could bottom. I've been doing a lot of research because everyone wants to know where could Bitcoin bottom. And obviously, please keep in mind that this is just an opinion based on charting and history. But for me, I basically took FTX's fiasco and I likened it to the Lehman Brothers collapse in the stock market. And this is where my stock education kind of comes in, where I can bring these things out that I went through as a trader and kind of use them. And so when Lehman Brothers collapsed, it was a bank. They took on too much leverage. They did some stuff they shouldn't have. And eventually they failed. From that point, the stock market dropped 45% more till the March low of 2009. And it took about 5 to 6 months. So if FTX is kind of that scenario for the crypto markets, it puts the bottom on Bitcoin somewhere in I would say the May to June period, right? That 5-6 months out from now. Period. And it probably puts us right around the $10,000 to $9,000 range. The reason I like 10,000 in terms of a break point and thinking that we could break that on Bitcoin is simply that that's going to be where max pain is probably initiated for most crypto investors. So we know psychologically, investors probably will put stops at 10,000. We know that psychologically that's going to be like, oh my goodness, if Bitcoin ever breaks 10,000, it's going to be a fiasco. Everyone's going to freak out about it, which oftentimes can be the marker of a low in a chart or in an asset. So
I'm pretty sure there's tons of liquidation sitting there too.
Yep, exactly.
And that's quite interesting because, I was looking at it that, emotionally as well. I don't know if you believe the market cycle. The simple market cycle. I believe we're still in anger phase. I still believe depression comes. Yeah. And what it basically means here is temporary, maybe push up in the market. I do have a slight indication where maybe we may have a slight push up, for a month or two, but then we do bleed down and possibly that 9K, emotionally wise, it makes sense. Do you feel the market is like you spoke about max pain? Do you think the market still has more damage to be done emotionally to the people before we can just start to make its way up? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, there's no doubt that you haven't reached that and the reason you can tell that is because you still see people posting on Twitter and stuff like that. Oh, the low is in. I mean, here we go. And every $100 uptick in Bitcoin, it seems like that's kind of the thing that people are saying. And the key to bottoms is when people are just like, it's like crickets, right? Everyone's just depressed. No one's saying anything positive. You even get people saying that Bitcoin will not be here in a year or two. I mean, that's really the marker. And by the way, that's again the psychological side that all of us that are education fiends for crypto or anything, you have to be ready to withstand. You go back to your thesis and you say, is my thesis still valid even when I'm saying this? Because it's going to make people, even like myself, question myself. And you have to be strong enough to just say, no, this is the thesis. This is what happens in bear markets. Let's withstand it and let's look for that reversal.
Amazing. I agree 100%. And I think guys, did you hear that? We have so much time to become so smart in this game before the next, like there is time when these big things,
and bear markets, by the way. Yeah, I was going to say bear markets are the place where people make their money, right? I mean, this is where it's not when you're buying at 65 or 69,000 on Bitcoin where your risk reward is horrendous. It's when the market is decimated and you're getting an asset that has major future value at such discounted levels. So, I mean, always remember that bear markets, if you know how to trade them, it's better than anything in the world in terms of generating money.
To be honest, it's probably the only time you can make money. You know, it's all the hard work now. And then it comes to the next monster, the time to sell. When that market goes bullish and you're thinking about Lamborghinis and yachts, and also it's time to sell. Guys, this school gives you the foundation to start your incredible journey. Once you have done this, you will soon see that crypto is not so hard anymore. It's actually simple. And to be honest, it's one of the biggest opportunities you'll get in your life. Remember, we are filling up the code very fast. Book your spot now.
I was just going to add one more thing too, is that just keep in mind that one of the keys to withstanding the emotional pressure of like a bear market is make sure not to over allocate funds, right? So the biggest thing is when you put a small amount of money into an asset, you know, and let's say you start buying a little Bitcoin, you dangle into it a little bit. You have to remember that if you put too much money in, when that asset goes against you, you're going to react emotionally because you're uncomfortable having invested so much. So it's very important to kind of decide ahead of time for each trade, what's your comfort level? If you have a full position of Bitcoin, are you going to be comfortable if it goes to 9,000? Because again, the market will figure out, and just some amazing way it does this, it knows how to attack you if you over allocate funds, and it will make you do the wrong thing at the wrong time.
It's crazy how it brings that out in you. It's absolutely insane. I think last question, Gareth, thank you so much for the time, bro. We have people that are asking, is it time to short Bitcoin? And I think this is a big thing now because yes, we still have a possible depression to come, and we do have a possible another level to come to the leg down. But it kind of feels that we're getting bullish at a 60K Bitcoin. It kind of feels, 60K now bullish, and now people are like, they're trying to short and they're trying to they're at these levels. What is your opinion on that right now? Is it probably best to not even trade in that aspect of let's rather wait for the bleed off and basically build up in that time? What is your opinion on people now bearish now and wanting to short now? I just feel you're getting stuck in a mindset. I feel the damage is done. And I just feel if you're stuck in that mindset for too long, it's going to basically be the same as what happened in the bull market, just in reverse.
No, you're 100% right. And again, this is where the risk reward factors in, right? So let's say Bitcoin goes to $9,000. You're basically, your reward here is about $8,000. Versus if it starts squeezing up, you could lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000. So I think that, again, this is a great example where people are trying to chase, and chasing is the worst thing you can do. And I always like to use the analogy of for some reason, investors, they're willing to pay higher prices, or in the case of shorting, pay lower prices. But when we go to the mall to buy some jeans or a pair of shoes, we don't go to the mall and, we see it on sale at $100 one week, and then the next week it's $500 for that same pair of jeans. We don't go, oh my God, I got to buy 10 pair of jeans. You say, true. No, let me wait for this thing, So that's the same thought process. You have to translate what we do at the shopping centers and the stores into your trading. It should be the same mindset. You're looking for deals. You're looking for sales.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it so much. We should actually do a badass TA show. I think
we should, buddy. Thank you guys for having me. And you guys are doing great work. Keep educating. It's the best thing in the world.
We're gonna, bro. 100,000 students in 2023. I'm telling you, 100 to 500,000 students. You got it. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
There was one more, Gareth, before you jump off, there was one more question from one of our moderators, which I think everyone can relate to. If you could give your younger self some advice on some of the biggest mistakes you've made along the way. Hard question, I guess, on the spot. But just off the bat, what would that be? What would sort of the key differences be now that you know what you know?
Yeah. So, it's the hardest thing is to do just one, because God knows I made so many mistakes as a new trader. And by the way, for everyone listening, please keep that in mind, is everyone that is a pro now started out as a newbie at some point, making all the mistakes that you've ever made, losing, I lost 70% of my portfolio in 1 day day trading. I mean, so for me, it would be go smaller and kind of be more humble in terms of understanding that any trade can go against you. There's no surefire trade. There's no 100% in anything. And really just don't chase. Don't chase, stay patient. Remember, there's always another trade on the horizon.
Amazing. Thank you. And I believe Run has actually joined us. So I wanted to invite him to just say hi.
I'm surprised